7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. What's going on? How's everybody doing? I'm glad to see everyone. So, this is going to be a little bit of an interesting conversation because a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon when they seen all this coming out about the water systems. So, of course, being who I am, I had to dig a little deeper and go a little deeper into what was really being said, what's been going on, and welcome some of these new folks in the chat. Mr. Bates, Caitlin, Royal Linus, Tamara. Tamara's brand new. Please watch out for her in the chat. She is rather frisky. But glad to see everybody tonight. RCX, nice to see you. Dragonflies, I'm glad you could insult me before I came on the live. It always makes me feel loved and welcomed here. Last time I looked, I thought this was our channel, but sometimes. But folks, this is kind of this is a serious topic. They're saying that over 45% of the water has these PFA chemicals in it. And so I started looking, and like they might be saying 45% to maybe cover some asses right now. And I'll tell you why. If you look at this chart, you can see the worst tap water from coast to coast. Brunswick, Quad Cities, Iowa, Miami, Florida, Wilmington, Philadelphia, Kentucky. It's all over the place, right? So I was like, is there solutions to this issue? That's the big thing. Is there solutions? We can talk about news articles, and I could jump on the bandwagon. Sometimes I do, but we could jump on the bandwagon and put these articles out. But being a prepping channel, I really feel that more of us in the prepping community need to step to the plate and see, is there something we can do? Is there a solution? The thing is we talked about this about 6 months ago or so, that basically all around the country that water was disappearing, right? It was just all of a sudden miraculously gone. Well, that's because water has become a huge seller, and we have some big culprits like Nestle. And who else could get another one? Oh, that's right. BlackRock, Vanguard. Yes, we have these other companies. Billy Boy. We have the Chichia Pets. We have Saudi, all sucking up our water and using it and buying it because it's a big money maker. I mean, we always talk about boil out your water, that, oh, 3 days without food, 3 days without this, that, you'd perish. Without water, you'd be screwed, right? You'd be really screwed. We have another topic coming up that's above water that we all need to be concerned about. And I think I'll do that maybe tomorrow night. Um, but half of the tap water in the US is laced with these hormone warping forever chemicals. And there's report after report coming in. DuPont, the plant in Fayetteville, was a big spinoff. But now let's talk about something else. What happened with all those train derailments, right? Where were they located near? Where did those nasty chemicals go? That's right, folks. They went into our waterways all around the country. So right now, here you can see I've pulled up article after article dating back into the early 2000s. But I thought one that was really interesting is thyroid cancer in North Carolina. Big, huge thing about thyroid cancer in North Carolina. Lots and lots of reports coming in. From 2012 to 2016, 110 cases were reported, right? Compared to 46 that they anticipated. Now, we're going to do something a little different. I am going to pull up the PFA contamination map and put in some states so you all can see it instead of just seeing this as a big cluster. And then you can, on your own as a prepper, go in and take a look at your specific state, which, as I always say, I give you the resources because you need to do the legwork. But we have some of the highest PFA levels in drinking water in Miami, New Jersey, North Carolina, Kentucky. So they're spread all over the place. But there's this huge link infertility, birth defects, and hormone issues. Oh, go figure. Is that what's going on in 2023 with all the furries and all the, yeah, yeah, okay. Anyway, so the other thing that I looked at is that a lot of these PFAs are actually they were leached into the water supply years and years ago from Teflon. And so I thought that was really interesting. And the compounds to repel water and oil, right? Non-stick cookware. So, and jackets and tents and the spray and the carpet spray that you put on the Teflon coating, all these water repellent things are causing this problem too. So I dug around in some of that. Now, the big huge thing is that it's very, very, very expensive to treat. The other question. Honestly, you can remove, you can remove, but you can't get rid of all of it. We always talk about boiling out water. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, boiling out water ain't going to do diddly in this situation at all. It's not going to do nothing for anybody. So I think that that's like really important that we look at the situation and go, okay, what can we do? But we've talked about this before. Boiling water is like the prepper go to, right? It's like, okay, I'm a prepper. Hey, Georgie, what's up? And if you notice, folks, I forgot to say this, the channel name has changed back to Off the Wall Prepper 2. Take 2. Hey, Tina Ladybug, what's going on? But so we always talk about boiling water. I mean, every prepping channel you ever go to says boil water. And I have said it forever. Don't boil it for the 12 minutes, boil it for longer and longer and longer, right? When it comes to these PFAs, it will not make a difference. It's not going to help. And that's a big concern for all of us, right? Then the thing that will help is activated carbon, ion exchange resins, and high pressure membrane systems. So you would actually have to have a RO system, something like that, to be able to do it. But it's really interesting, all these health effects that are coming in and all these studies, and no one really talked about that. They just said, oh, over 45% of the water is contaminated. I would say probably closer to 100%, because think about all these train derailments and how many years is it going to take before we know the historical impact of what happened with that water. And so I think that's, until the science is there, we are just left in the open. Watering your garden with PFAS contaminated water and eating that produce is going to be doing the same thing. The amount of PFAS that end up in the edible portions varies by your soil conditions, the type of plant, the type of PFAS, and their concentration in soil and water. But I think the biggest thing is and I went into a whole bunch of different articles. One, it says wash or scrub all dirt off the produce before eating to avoid swallowing soil. Man, how many kids used to eat dirt back in the 70s and 80s? I don't know about y'all, but I was a dirt eater. I like to throw mud piles at people and do different things. But I think that it's really important that we figure out a stance of how we can go forward. So it's also important to peel and wash your root vegetables before you eat them. Clean the compost to your garden soil. Add clean compost. Increase the organic content of your garden soil, and use rainwater or install a filter to remove PFAs. Now, when you get into the filters, the thing that I have to say is you can't just boil it. And then we have to worry about the livestock. Many homesteaders come to this channel and think about this. The PFAs can be absorbed from drinking the water by farm animals and transferred into the eggs, milk, and meat. So there's another huge thing. So the big thing to me that I really looked at is there's no PFA regulations or advisories to guide consumption animal products. The only thing we can do is reduce the exposure if possible. And it's really, really important. It says to actually avoid eating organ meats like liver, kidneys, and the blood. Um, many people, Many people like liver and gizzards. My mother loves gizzard, and I love to eat the turkey neck. How many of y'all like, the organ meats? How many of you do? Hit a one in the chat if you like the organ meats. That's something to think about, though. And then you're going to have to worry or be concerned about switching your animals to clean water or installing a filter to reduce the PFAs as much as possible. Does anybody like to eat the turkey leg or the liver? Who likes liver and onions? No, not me. Not me. Dragonflies won't even allow it cooked in the house. But it says in this pamphlet that I was reading about could you water your livestock with the PFAS contaminated water? Well, we've already been doing that, right? I'm sure most of you have. I think the biggest thing is that we all need to address this in our homes because these synthetic chemicals are getting worse and worse. The thing that really bothers me, I think, about this whole situation is all these train derailments. These train derailments and being near water supplies. Me and my brother had a long, in-depth conversation. Now he works with environmental cleanup around the country, and he was saying, once KJ, once the water is contaminated like that from a train derailment, it's going to go into our drinking water. And yes, Brandy, I think the rainwater off our house shingles has less contamination, but because it's not groundwater. See where there's a big difference where the water that's coming from the air still has pollutants and everything in it, but the groundwater is the big concern with the PFA. And when you think about that, that's a huge thing. I do want to bring in another part of this too, um, about the water, and we've talked about this before. But see, water is being sold like it's gold all around the country, all around the world. And the thing is that so many of these large corporations, and I'm going to name one of them because there's document after document, is Nestle. Nestle, Billy Boy, Bobby Gates are buying up so much land near our water. And that's a huge concern. How many of you in the chat feel a little concerned thinking about old Billy buying up the water and the land? That's concerning to me. Now, you can filter stuff, but you have to have the right kind of filter, Nunya, and and even in the bottled water. I want to say something about that too, Nunya. When had my little farm there in Nebraska. Hey, Danny, what's going on? Um, when I had my little farm, it was very interesting to me, and this was what 14, 15 years ago, that all of a sudden those signs started popping up everywhere, right? Everywhere. And yes, and I am going to get into that, Robert. Thanks for bringing it up. It is on my presentation here about the well water. The well water can be contaminated. So you can't boil your water to get rid of the PFAs. And then we have to think about this too, folks, the little ones, the babies, that you're taking tap water to mix infant formula, and there's PFAs in the water. So that's something, if you have a little one, they're in their developmental years, and then you have PFAs in there. What kind of long term effects is that going to have on them? And I think that that's something that we all really need to think about and be concerned about, especially for the babies. Um, you have to have a filter that contains activated carbon or a reverse osmosis membrane. They have been shown in the studies that they're effective at removing some of the PFAs from water supplies, not all. But you also have to consider anything such as the well. It's the same situation. All the water treatment units require regular maintenance to work properly. Make sure that you are prepping that you are getting those extra filters, because water treatment units that are not properly maintained are going to lose their effectiveness over time. And then on top of that, what if you can't get that filtration? I actually personally prep activated charcoal, and I have bags and bags of it. And I think that that's something that that you could do, because you could expand the systems that you currently have. I know a lot of people have asked me before, and you all know we are an affiliate of My Patriot Supply. Right now, the Alexa Pure does have some great discounts going on. I think it's like almost $100 or something off the system. So I did want to show it. I mean, if you want to support the channel that way, that'd be great. I think the biggest thing, and I want to bring this other article up real quick, um, that I think is really important is that as I was scrolling around like I always do, right, is that what happens to our water security, because it has become like oil. It's treated like oil because it is a big, huge moneymaker, right? And that's what's happening on a global scale. And the consequences that me, you, and your family are at risk of having access to water. So we have a double whammy, is what I'm trying to get at here. We have a double whammy. We have the PFAs in the water, and the UN actually says water is a universal right, right? The United Nations General Assembly recognized the right of every human being to have access to enough water for personal and domestic use, between 50 and 100 liters of water per person per day. However, the big money makers and government officials have objected to the United Nations General Assembly. According to ECO, you can go and check out the report. It's at the World Water Forum in 2000, the year 2000. Nestle led the way in fighting against defining access to water as a universal right. And Nestle and other big corporations, they won. That's the shitty part. They actually won, right? They won, and it has become a, a commodity. It has become a moneymaker, multi billion moneymaker. See, when they made water and they took it and they turned it from basic water necessity of life to a financialization of water, it's going to have serious consequences. That is a threat to me, my family, my animals, and your family and animals. And our future is water security. There is a lot to read right now about an ongoing battle over water. The United Nations by 2025 says that 1.8 billion people will live with dire water shortages, and two-thirds of the world's population could be living under stressed water conditions. Clean water is going to be desperately sought. It's going to be like gold. If you go to Ideas for Development report, by 2030, the global demand to fresh water is expected to increase 50%, leading to a 40% shortfall in freshwater resources. And this, ladies and gentlemen, without water, we're royally screwed, right? We are royally screwed. And I thought that that would be something that I should bring into this live stream, because I look at things like that, and yeah, it's better than gold. You're right. No, you can't drink gold. All we could do is melt it down. But think about it, folks. So we have all these circumstances and situations, and now we have a double whammy with water. I actually would say we probably have a triple. Um, there's another system. You can get the replacement filters, the 4 pack for $339 right now. They're usually $479, so it's $100 off. The Alexa Pure Pro Ultimate Flow Kit. It comes with four filters, the collapsible jug, the stand, and the Alexa Pure is $491. If you use that link now or in the future, that does help support the channel. Now, this is one thing that I do have, and I continue to get cases of it. It's not a lot of water. It's not, but it is used by the Coast Guard. It's the emergency water pouch case by Ready Hour. I'm pretty good. They're $29.95. They're usually $40. But here's another under the counter. Look around, find something that fits your budget. Even when we were traveling on the RV, we actually had a system that hooked up to our RV to purify that water. It was an RO system. You can also get a UV light to add an extra layer. I do want to say this real briefly, just so people know. We are an affiliate of My Patriot Supply. When you go on My Patriot Supply, and if you can't afford to purchase everything at one time, they have two different programs. They have one that you just pick a monthly payment and you put in your credit card, you pay the first payment, and you pay over time, which can help a lot of people without the big interest rate. The other thing is called a firm. So you get approved and then you don't put hardly anything down and you can use that one. And you can get like $600 worth of stuff for like $50 a month. I think that the big thing that we all have to realize is it's so many different ways from our food chain to our water supply. We're really in a situation here. We're really in a situation. Shelter up in cost, food being played with, clothing hard to find, water being contaminated, and lastly, emotional control from all of this. Yeah, people being very, very much in fear of everything. And I agree with you, Brandy. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, folks, on that, the fear mongers are out in full force. And I try to bring news information to you. But, a lot of people go, well, that was yesterday's news. See, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem right there is too many people they go from one news article to another news article and they never, ever look deeper. And I think it's very important in 2023 that we question every freaking thing that's going on, that we question all of it, and that we did figure out what's going to help us, what's going to really help us. And I think if I bring news channel articles to you, I think another good thing to do is to try to find the best of my ability to find solutions so that we can go forward. I think I agree, Kentucky Survival 76. How you doing, man? I agree that we have to keep putting our boots on the ground, folks. We can't give up and we can't give in because I'll tell you what, they're coming at every freaking angle that they possibly can. And the more and more that we see this, I truly believe that when the freebies stop, right? When the freebies stop, that's when we're going to see people literally freak out. When all the freebies, the free cell phone, the Obamacare, what if EBT and SNAP stop tomorrow? Those is going to be that right there would be the that would break the camel's back for sure. It definitely would. I'm glad to see everybody in tonight. What's up, Ark Wild Man? 17.99 for turmeric and ginger root. See, and that's the other thing. We have a lot going on, and I do want to. Oh, hold on before I get going here. Hey, Miss Sharon, nice to see you. So let me pull this up so y'all can see it real quick. I almost forgot I was gonna. I promised you I'd show you this because I want you to have the resource. It's an interactive map, right? It's called PFA Contamination in the USA, and they redid it in June 8th, 2022. They updated it. So what you want to do is just go over here to the right side, and if you want to get to it, it's not PFAs. You look up www.ewg.org, right? There's a resource, ewg.org, and it's an interactive map. It's a contamination map. So let's just put in, for example, we'll just put in New York. We know New York's probably a mess. Let's just see. The spa at Oriental. No, I didn't ask for the spa. Hold on. There we go. Okay, you hit that, and it zooms you that area. Now, see, if you zoom in closely like that, it doesn't look bad, right? Anywhere that you see a dot, blue, dark blue, purple, orange, and so on, does have PFAs in their water. But let's look at this as we back it out. Y'all know I love to show things like this and resources to do the legwork. But look at if you back that, isn't that something? That is something. And especially if you look over here like at New York and stuff, and grab this map and you can move it just like we do on Maritime, and some of the other maps that we use. But I thought this would be a good resource to see, like, do you need to double or triple step up your game? Because everybody should have access. I try to give everyone access to what I find, what I investigate, because I think that, being a prepping channel, I want to see people prosper. I want to see us go forward, right? I don't want to see us get stuck and stupid. So that's a big thing right there. And I hope that you all will take the time to go and look at your area, just like we did with the nuclear map, just like we have done with other maps. I hope that each and every one of you is putting your boots on the ground and that you're doing things on a daily basis because, there's so many things coming at us. And I think the only thing that we can do, honestly, is to keep prepping, which is really important, from our food. But like I said about the food, hey Mark, like I said about the food last week or the week before, like really, really think about your long term food, not 1 year out, not 2 years out. Let's talk 10, 15 years out. Get some of those long term foods, which is really important. We do have another live, I believe, is it tomorrow morning, RR? If you could drop the link, RR, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, mods, for everything you do. Thank you to all the channel subs, the supporters, the channel members. We also have a members live stream this Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time. Please do me a favor, folks. If you're watching this right now or you're watching it in the future, please hit the thumbs up, comment on the videos, because it really helps us break back out of the YouTube jail that I've been in for about a year. I really appreciate every single one of you. I want to say that, we are the OTWP, and we really are off the wall prepper 2 now. We're off the wall prepper 2. I added it back in. So please don't call me preppy. Either call me off the wall prepper or KJ. I'm glad all of you are here. I'm glad that you all stopped by tonight. I'm going to be doing a lot more news articles. I have several that I've been working on, and they're going to be coming out. Keep doing the legwork, folks. Do the dang thing. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't stop. No matter what comes at us, we weren't born to be wimps. We were born to be warriors. And that being said, folks, I hope that each and every one of you has a great night, that you never give up, no matter what pisses you off, no matter what comes at you, that you keep standing. When you see somebody doing some bullshit, stand up, because all we got is each other. That's all we got. And we're not out of time yet, but it's coming. But one thing I want to say is no matter where we're at, no matter what's going on, we all know that we have better things coming. God bless you from here in the Ozarks to wherever you're at. Make today count. Make every single day count. And as we always do it at the O to the T to the W to the P, we're taking it out with a song. Thank you, lurkers, for being here. Thank you, Miss Sharon, Danny, Mark Cassidy, Dragonflies, R&R, Tamra for causing chaos and commotion. And Brandy F. Don't forget Brandy. Brandy, I didn't even see any crazy comments tonight. God bless y'all. And remember, folks, we're not out of time yet. So keep on doing it because we got really good things coming. Someday, one day, it will be that way. God bless y'all.
Running down the same road like so many times before. I've never felt this lonely, but I'm trying not to show. They said it would be easy, still I'm giving all I got. I just wanna tell you something, it must have been something I forgot. All this time, it was never enough. So please slow down. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. I'm taking the long road. same road, hoping leads me somewhere new, making up for lost time, gonna make it right by you. They said it would be easy, guess I never thought it through. My head's been in the wrong place,